because that is perfection. You're just human. You can't do this. But what I'm saying is that when we learn how to get quiet, we can do it for a moment. We can enter that frame of mind where we do feel connected to all life and where we do desire only good to come to all life for a moment. Yes, maybe for some brief moments, but this is the thing. Once we've experienced it, and I can tell you about it all day long, but until the experience comes, it's really not real. It's just something the guy on Sunday said. But once we experience it and we have that moment of perfection, then we know it's possible because it just happened. So we know it's possible. So we can learn to repeat those moments. And the more we repeat those moments of perfection, the less suffering we experience. And the less of the time we are trying to contribute to the suffering of others because we're suffering. So, our job, our purpose, is to extend love and service. So now what Jesus says about this, after he makes the statement, he turns back to the Pharisees and he says, "And on these two hang all the law and the prophets." So say on these two things, which are the same thing, extend love. All of the rest of the Hebrew Bible, which we've called the Old Testament, all the rest of it, that's what it's trying to tell you. All of those 500 and some laws, all of those things in there are trying to point to love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. This is like simple, right? It's really a simple idea, and it's an idea that I can hold in mind. The problem is that I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. The solution is to forgive the mistakes. To forgive the mistakes. To forget the mistakes. And move forward, trying to establish that perfect moment right now. So there's the overarching thing. Our purpose is to be helpful, to extend love, to establish in our minds a sense of connection and desire for only good to come to others. But specifically, I can't tell you. And anybody who says that they can tell you what God's will is for you concerning any particular situation is lying. They may think they are telling the truth. They may not be lying on purpose, but they are lying because it's not their job. It's your job. And the only way to figure out what to do in the present moment is to stop trying to figure it out. Be quiet. Wait for guidance. Listen. You know, how many times does a friend come to you and start telling you about a situation that's going on in their life, and you remember some situation kind of similar to that may have happened to you, or worse, that you heard from somebody else, and immediately, even before they stop telling you the story, you want to give them a solution. Stop it. Listen to the whole business. Listen to everything that they have to say, and then don't think that your own wisdom, your own separate wisdom, is going to give them the right answer. Be quiet for a moment. Be quiet for a moment and allow that inner voice to give you some guidance. And you know what? It can be just a split second of being quiet, because, see, when we get quiet, we're actually being humble. We're actually telling the ego, you don't know. You do not know. You are a liar. You don't know. So let me hear the voice that does know. The voice that I know is here and present and ready to give me the guidance that I need. Jesus said, observe the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. They neither reap nor sow, and yet their Heavenly Father cares for them. Well, they do actually do some work. They do what they're designed to do. The bird doesn't just sit in the nest. The bird flies. The bird flies so that it can fulfill its bird nests. The flower does what the flower does so that it can be a flower. And so our task here, day by day, is to allow that which is within us to come forth. To come forth, and it'll come forth every day. The more we practice, it'll come forth in greater and more wondrous ways. And the world we see will actually be transformed, because the world we see is all based on what's going on in our heads. And as we do this, as we change what's going on in our heads from fear thoughts to thoughts of connectedness to thoughts of extending goodwill, the world we observe will change. And we will fulfill our purpose of being helpful. And when we fulfill our purpose of being helpful, we will feel fulfilled. And we won't have to do all that scrambling to try to drag things from the outer world into ourselves, including people, to fill that hole in our ego, which can never be filled. We will instead be filled with Spirit. We will realize that we have always been filled with Spirit, and that is who we really are, and that our job is to extend that to the rest of life. I think that's enough.